Hi, I'm Steven. I main skateboard. Skateboard is a class where its survivability and lethality hinges on its mobility. You're not even walking, you are driving a vehicle. You can't suddenly brake because it's a skateboard. To turn, you can't just hold A or D, you need to turn the skateboard by turning your camera. To gain speed, you have to perform tricks off of ledges by jumping right as you're about to fall. Because of all these factors, there are some maps where you feel like Tony Hawk on crack, and other maps where you feel like you're driving a motorcycle through a dense forest while blackout drunk. Since I have nothing better to do this weekend, I've gone through and graded every map on how skateboardable they are. Enjoy. Banland is absolutely brimming with trick spots. There's never a moment where the nearest ledge is more than 30 studs away. Additionally, the amount of obstacles to crash into is next to none. You can be zipping through high traffic areas at top speeds and never have to slow down to make sure you don't crash. There's only one problem. I can't see. Every platform is a smooth gray. The main source of lighting is a dim red ambient light, and the secondary sources of light rarely highlight the ledges you need to see. Even though I have the map layout memorized, I still need to glue my eyes to the screen to make sure I'm not overshooting ledges. And God forbid you're unfamiliar with this map, or you'll be flying into lava like fruit flies to a bowl of vinegar and dish soap. B tier. Whoa, a place that is designed specifically for skateboarding. Surely this is one of the best maps for skateboard players? Not really. The areas outside of the center points are decent for skateboarding. They have minimal obstacles and plenty of ledges. What makes this map difficult to play is the center of the map. During Conquer, you'll want to be around the center most of the time. The trick spots around there are sparse and precise enough that top speed may be difficult to maintain. The big walls that provide cover for the other classes only serve as obstacles for skateboard. The rails are deceiving. They are not reliable trick spots as they are too high to ramp off of and too thin to jump onto. All they do is get in the way. Of course, you could always take the easier option and just leave the center to use one of the bowls, but that means wasting precious time going back and forth from the center. C tier. I love flying around the top of this map, but I have to admit that this just isn't a great map for skateboard overall. The spacing of the platforms on the top half of the map is perfect for maintaining top speed, and the obstacles are minimal. But nobody goes up there. You might be having fun zooming around the train tracks, but you'll be contributing nothing to the round besides occasionally annoying a support class into jumping down from their perch. Where the bulk of the fighting is going to be happening is on the ground, where the amount of obstacles makes it difficult to maneuver, and the only trick spots are tiny slices of ramps in the corners of the map and the stream in the center. Even though two long ledges in the center of the map would normally be a godsend for skateboard, its usefulness is severely dulled by the fact that the stream is surrounded by slopes that make it hard to not just fly over the stream, walls that you have to maneuver around, and that there's a bridge that obscures your vision if your camera isn't parallel with the floor. At least the music is catchy. C tier. One thing is for certain on this map. You won't be crashing. Actually, you might not be doing much of anything. Although the trick spots that exist outside are all very reliable, they're split apart by a massive, flat, and empty area in the center. It's boring, and it's risky if you lose momentum there. The indoor areas aren't any better, being similarly barren of trick spots. C tier. This map has 7 variations. I am not reviewing all of them individually, or this would take forever. Although this map is guaranteed to have a lot of trick spots, the shape and placement of the mats means that they straddle the line between being obstacles and being trick spots. If a variant with bleachers appears, you may be tempted to use those for tricks. And you can, but you're just as likely to hit it at the wrong angle or height, get stuck in them, get kicked off your skateboard, and have to do a walk of shame back out while you wait for your skateboard cooldown to be over. With enough skill, I'm sure someone could utilize this map to its full potential. Every obstacle in this map is a potential trick spot after all. I can't though, and I assume most other players can't either. For those exact reasons, however, it's great for practicing and showing off to your friends. C tier. Trick spots are absolutely everywhere in this map. Too bad they're surrounded by so many trees and dominoes that you'll feel like you're playing Flappy Bird. The upper areas are better, but those are rarely visited by anyone other than support and ranged classes. This map is definitely playable, but it's difficult. And unlike Dodgeball, there's not a lot of cool stunts to pull off here. It's just about not crashing. C tier. A large flat surface with no obstacles? 2 dips in the ground on both sides of the points? Hell yeah. This map will have you zooming back and forth with absolutely zero concentration required. The only reason I won't be rating this at S is because the areas further out from the center are too barren of trick spots. Get enough speed going and that won't be a major concern though. A tier. Do you know what it means to be overstimulated? Would you like to learn? This map is jam-packed full of detail. It looks great, but makes it hell to comprehend what's around you when you're flying by on a skateboard at Mach 10. Your camera will be constantly smacked by conveyor belts and scaffoldings, and when it's not, you'll be struggling to keep yourself from colliding with any of the 20 things on screen, or getting stuck in the pool with its parts placed specifically to stop you from being able to jump out if you're too close to the sides. Did I mention you're supposed to be trying to hit people while dealing with all this? F tier. Staying on the point in this map is incredibly easy. The point is surrounded by trick spots, and there are little to no obstacles to crash into up there. Even the slopes at the top are trick spots, although they may be a little finicky. The difficulty rises as you venture further from the center. Although there are still plenty of trick spots, the amount of obstacles will be keeping you on your toes. It's not impossibly difficult, you just need to be focusing. Can't be dozing off on this map if you intend on never leaving the point. B tier. Better get nice and comfy on that point. You're probably not going to be going anywhere else. When you're on the point, everything's fine. The entire thing is a big elevated platform. Everywhere else is awful. Getting on any of the platforms involves going up long, steep slopes that will bring you to a grinding halt if you're not maintaining your speed perfectly. Some of the platforms come with jump pads. They're great for helping other classes reach the point, but for skateboard, you can bet they'll be giving you way more airtime than you could ever possibly need, draining all of your momentum while you wait to land again. Not even the ground gives you a break, as it's littered with props that are too tall to drive over and too narrow to do tricks off of. D tier. The center on this map is the optimal point for skateboard. 0 obstacles, 2 rings to do tricks off of, 1 perfectly aligned with the point, and another just a little bit outwards to help you get there faster and to catch you in case you overshoot the first ring. Support classes aren't even guaranteed safety from you just by being off the point. They will often stand atop the ledges of the dip in the middle, ledges that are both really long trick spots. But what if I just climb to the rooftops? Sure, that'll buy you some time. Doesn't mean you're safe. A tier. The only place skateboard is useful here is in the center. You can do tricks off of the gaps around the entrances to the vault, but because of how narrow the gaps are, this is unreliable at higher speed. The railings around the planter boxes can also be used, but the ones right next to the shrubs may be inconsistent for the same reason. The center is free of annoying obstacles, save for some glass panes you might smack into occasionally, but every other area in the map is either a small room or a narrow hallway, usually without objects to do tricks off of. D tier. This map has a lot of great open areas to do tricks. Unfortunately, the point is not one of them. The only trick spots at the point are 2 small cylinders, some awkward corners, and some ramps that are just a little bit too far away. The random trapezoids blocking your way don't help either. It's a shame, because the dining and play areas up top are great for tricks. C tier. This map is great for maintaining speed. There's never a shortage of trick spots, and the areas around the center are big and open, so there's not much to get in your way. You can even use the gutters for tricks. Driving through the point requires a little precision, though. The doorways block the corners, and there's a big vehicle in the dead center that you have to swerve around. B tier. Little known fact, offices are not designed for skateboarding. This map has the perfect obstacles. Desks that are too tall to jump over, with gaps in the middle so you can get stuck inside them. Windows that are raised just high enough that you might accidentally slam your head against one of them. Cubicles that will ensnare you like glue traps. Stairs that are too steep and too narrow. The only good places to be on this map for skateboard are everywhere except the high traffic areas. The roof is a big, open space with a lot of ledges. Same goes for the mesh platforms at the bottom. There are railings around the center hallway that you can do tricks off of, but they're surrounded by windows so that you risk flattening yourself against them every time you use the railings. F tier. Trick spots are everywhere. The center has a big hole in it, and every platform has gradual slopes and low railings that are perfect for tricks. Even the area below the center has a dip with long ledges. You'll never be worried about getting stuck somewhere where you can't find a trick spot. But the railings are finicky at low speeds, and it's easy to accidentally jam yourself into the pipes. A tier. Lots of trick spots, but no easy ones. The planter boxes require well-timed jumps to get onto, laser tag arena is understandably filled with obstacles, and the dark color scheme can make it hard to make out the geometry of that area. With a lot of trick spots of moderate to high difficulty and a fair amount of obstacles, this map is a great marker of someone's skateboard skill. If they can play this map decently, they know what they're doing. B tier. This map is one of my personal favorites. The railings are low enough for tricks, and other props like tables and display cases fill in when there are no railings nearby. The stairs are easy to handle too. They're not too steep, they're very wide, and they often have lots of space on one side, which leaves ample room for tricks. In terms of obstacles, there's not a lot to get stuck on. You can get stuck under the trampoline sometimes, but it's rare, and if you're really worried about it, you can just take the stairs instead. If you crash on this map, it's rarely because the physics engine decided you needed to be glued to a desk or jammed into the floor. It's because you were clumsy and you turned a corner too sharply. The banners sometimes block your camera though. A tier. No obstacles, flat ground, ledges everywhere. The railings are trick spots too if you time your jumps right. Because the entire map consists of identical platforms, there's nowhere for people to hide from skateboard except on the green beams, which you can reach anyway. This is one of the most optimal skateboard maps in the game. S tier. It's honestly a really boring map though. Minimal obstacles, decent amount of trick spots. The point has a bunch of rings, but the edges can be hard to spot due to the dim lighting. The bridges have railings that are too high to do tricks off of without pre-planning a route onto them, but since the entrances and exits are lifted off the ground slightly, you can use those instead to get across the bridges faster. This map is similarly grating to Banland because of its dim lighting, but I still think Banland is the worst offender. At least there's little sunlight here. Or moonlight? Starlight? I don't know. B tier. This map consists entirely of open areas with lots of ledges. Obstacles rarely get in the way, the railings are low enough to just move over, and the brick walls at the center are easy to avoid. Although the map size doesn't technically give you an advantage, I feel really awesome spotting a hyper laser across the map and being in their face in a matter of seconds. A tier. Lots of reliable trick spots, but also lots of obstacles. The trick spots at the center are all right next to a tall beam that you can crash into if you're not careful. The placement of windows, stairs, and machinery around the rest of the map means that you'll need to take a second to think about routing rather than mindlessly making a beeline for the enemy. Additionally, the ceiling lights have massive hitboxes that will punish you if you jump too high. The gap above the light still has collision. It's manageable as long as you focus. B tier. This is the skateboard map. Every time this map appears on the voting screen when I'm playing with friends, I yell in excitement and everyone else clamors to not vote for it.
Right. Oh, here we go.
What are you?
No obstacles other than the occasional wall, incredibly low railings so you don't get stuck, a round stage that you can do tricks off of in the center, and ledges everywhere. There's even a safety net under the staircases in case you accidentally bump your head on the back of the stairs. And unlike Rocket Arena, this map isn't just the same platform duplicated 9 times, which makes it the superior map in my eyes. S tier. This map is another one of my personal favorites. The train tracks act as 4 long trick spots, the obstacles are prevalent enough to add some difficulty without being frustrating, and the awnings, overpasses, and other structures give a lot of room for pulling off cool tricks. Although this map doesn't give me as much tactical advantage as Iron Cafe, it's still a lot of fun. A tier. A lot of the trick spots in this map are awkward to use. There are minecarts in the center that you can use for tricks, but their height means you'll have to time your jumps to land on them properly. The slopes can be used to do tricks off of, but as they're gradual slopes, they can be finicky. There's a decent amount of obstacles, but nothing excessive. For me, the main deal breaker of this map is just that there is absolutely nothing to do tricks off of on the far ends of the map. It's just a bunch of gradual slopes. This is especially important when respawning, as it takes an extra couple seconds for you to reach the center. D tier. How many was that? 25? Good lord. Anyway, that's every map. If you agree or disagree with any of my ratings, let me hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.